Mr. President. I hope everybody in this body knows that congressional oversight is a very important responsibility of all of us, and it's even a constitutional demand. We must ensure that our government truly does work for, of, and by the people. When fraud, waste, and abuse is discovered, Congress has a responsibility to the American people to make it public, because transparency brings accountability. Today we have an example of wrongdoing to discuss. It involves the former architect of the Capitol's blatant misuse of government property. According to the architect of the Capitol, Inspector General, during Brett Blanton's time as architect, he engaged in unnecessary, very expensive, and impermissible conduct. For example, the report found unauthorized vehicle use, misrepresentation as a law enforcement officer, ethics violations, and lastly, appropriation violations. Specifically, the Inspector General found that Blanton should have driven approximately 10,438 miles using government vehicles. Instead, the Inspector General said that Blanton racked up 29,291 miles. That's almost 20,000 extra miles of unauthorized benefit on the taxpayer's dime. The Inspector General's October 6, 2022 report expressly noted that Blanton's actions, quote, have violated every pillar of the office's Inspector General operates under, including theft, fraud, waste, and abuse against not only the architect of the Capitol, but also the taxpayer, end of the IG's quotation. In total, the Inspector General identified $13,926 of inappropriate costs associated with Blanton's use of government vehicles. On February 22nd of this year, I sent a letter to Mr. Blanton asking him when he would repay the money he impermissibly cost the taxpayers. As of today, now several months later, he failed to respond to my inquiry and my staff's attempt to contact him. He's also made no effort to repay the money that he owes the American people. His actions show no respect for the taxpayer. But that isn't the last word on this sad story. On the same day that I sent a letter to Mr. Blanton, I also sent a letter to the acting architect of the Capitol, Sherry Rexroth. I asked her whether she intended to seek repayment of Mr. Blanton. She and her team have worked to recover these payments. And as of January 21, or April 21, the money Mr. Blanton owed the taxpayers was repaid in full. $12,517 has been withheld from Mr. Blanton's final annual leave payment and has been returned to the Treasury. Remaining $1,409 was contributed by an insurance company. When dealing with trillions of dollars in government spending, a dozen or so thousands can seem like a very insignificant amount. However, this amount would be important to a family struggling to make ends meet in time of record inflation and price hikes. And the amount is important to me because it's about time that we see civil servants holding someone accountable for wrongdoing. So obviously, before giving up the floor today, I want to emphasize that congressional oversight doesn't deal out victories every day. And when wrongdoing is exposed and corrected, it should be noted. So let's give all due credit to the acting architect of the Capitol and also to her team for the recoupment of this taxpayers' money. It may be a small amount of money, but it's the right action to take, and we ought to compliment it, and I compliment the acting architect today. I yield the floor.